Okay, so this video is one I shot from my drone, and it's more of a cautionary tale because it's taken from my honeymoon, where I nearly lost my £1,000 drone, or for those of you in the US, that's around about $1,300. So yeah, so I was stopped off at Elmer's Bottle Tree Farm, looking to do some aerial footage. Shots of the bottle forest that's there. It's a bit of a roadside attraction just outside Barstow, and well, it was quite windy on the day, but I thought I'd risk it because it looked pretty cool, but it quickly started to go wrong, and as you can see there, I'm trying to get some footage of the train at this point, but then I'm realizing things are going wrong when I'm doing full stick forward and the drone is not flying forwards or flying anywhere near to me. At this point it's pretty much fighting against the wind, travelling sideways, and well, stupidly I'm just standing where I launched it and carried on watching. So at this point I finally let go of the controls, and you can see it's still drifting at about 9 miles per hour backwards. You'll have to forgive me for the fact that the drone footage is not synced up with the iPad recording. I managed to get it sort of close, but for some reason it wasn't quite synchronized on the editing software. So this is where I turned the drone to face me, and I wanted to try and bring it back because the wind was gusting. So on the bits where the wind wasn't actually blowing that hard, I had some sort of chance of bringing it back to me. So again, full stick forward. As you can see, I'm only doing 3 miles per hour forward, so the wind is really taking the speed. And the other sort of cardinal rule of flying a drone that I broke, I took off without a fully charged battery as well. It was only about 50% charged. I only thought it'd be a short flight, but obviously made a mistake with the wind. Very big error of judgment there. And likewise there, I wasn't aware of the power lines that were just below the drone here, which start messing up with the drone's compass. So I aren't actually putting any control inputs in for that. There you go, I'm trying to correct it. And the message comes up for mobile device CPU fully loaded. So at the moment I'm using a first generation iPad Air for this, and well, in hot weather it doesn't really perform that well, especially with the DJI Go app, and I do find sometimes the video feed can get a little bit delayed, a little bit broken up, which was kind of difficult. Obviously by this point I'd lost sight of the drone. I was trying to bring it back to me, which I seem to be having some success with at this point. But the other flaw to my flight was I didn't have any sunshade on my iPad at this particular point in time, which again didn't really help matters, because you can see it's a bright sunny day and I couldn't see the screen properly, so that was really making the situation a little bit worse. And couple that with the slow performance of the iPad then, because of high CPU load, really wasn't a good mix. This is where I'm trying to spin the drone round to get it facing me, but with a delayed reaction with the video, it wasn't exactly sure where it was pointing at this point, and I couldn't see the red icon on the screen properly because the sun was washing out the screen. Something terrible. So again, hover here. Again, I should have just walked over to where the drone was. Maybe I'm just saying that with hindsight, because at this point I couldn't see it properly. And I'd say a lot of panic had set in because it was a very expensive Mavic Pro, and I thought, it was a wedding present from my wife, and I was obviously devastated at the fact that I may be losing it. But I guess that's one of the other bits of advice I would give if you ever find yourself in this situation, is try not to panic, because if you panic, you start doing silly things, as you're about to see. Now what's actually happening here is, because it's approaching the low battery level, the drone starts to try and climb home. So that was the other mistake I made, was I didn't reset my return to home height from the previous flight. I had it set to 90 meters, or about 300 feet, which was unnecessary in this area. As you can see, it's quite flat, very little obstruction, high level obstructions, and with strong wind, as you can see, the warning has just come up again. Really wasn't helping matters. The higher it went, the worse the wind effect got on the drone. Now I've put it in sport mode now in an attempt, because the Mavic Pro will max out at about 20 miles per hour in normal GPS mode, and you can do up to about 40 miles per hour in sport mode. But the disadvantage of sport mode is it does use a lot of battery, and at this point in time that's not a luxury that I have. But in my panic, I'm trying to make a last ditch effort to get it back. So I'm really getting to a critical state with the battery right now. Trying to get the drone lower, because that's one thing I do find, is if you do get the high wind warning and it starts becoming an issue, generally, as long as there's no obstacles, one of the best options you can really do is to lower your drone's altitude to a lower level, where the winds are likely to be a lot weaker. I couldn't actually see which way it was facing here, and for some reason I thought it was facing away from me, which is why I did the stick backwards to fly back to me, when in actual fact it was the drone was facing me, but I'd lost sight of it. And I made matters worse then in sport mode by making the drone fly backwards about 45 miles per hour over a farmer's field. So again, in my panic, made matters a lot worse. At this stage, I'm running over to where the drone is. It's quite a hopeless situation. 14%. I'm actually quite worried that the battery will run out while the drone's in flight, and then it'll drop at this point from a height of about 200 feet, which would inevitably destroy the drone. The battery level was making the drone go to return home mode all the time, and that wasn't helping in this particular situation, because the wind was too strong and I didn't have enough battery to return home. In hindsight, the first sign of trouble, what I should have done is attempted to land the drone on the other side of the train track, on the side that I was on, where you could see that rectangular box shape, because the ground was quite reasonable to walk on there. But I didn't think to do that at the time, because I was panicking. So, to reiterate, if you find yourself in a so-called flyaway situation, whether it be caused by the wind or operator error, in my case, a bit of both, whatever you do, don't panic. If you can, try and land the drone near to you, even if it means you've got to walk. In my case, it was about 500 feet away to get to it, because this actually turned into a half-mile excursion to try and get the drone back. So as you see, it's landing on its own now, so in the farmer's field, with about 9% battery remaining. So using the GPS position on the DJI Go app, I put that in my handheld GPS. Now this was a really handy tool to have on me, because it enabled me to go and track down the drone afterwards. So I drove over to the field with my car, or the hire car that we had. Luckily the farmer was nearby, so we asked for permission to enter his field to go and get it. That was the farmer's car there, and he was very kind to let us go into the field. And fortunately I was able to recover my drone.